People, Deluded, I'm back again. First things first, happy Friday. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Now, as we move to the end of the Premier League season and on to the Euros and so on and so forth, we know the transfer rumours are going to start to swirl around Arsenal Football Club and any other clubs. And I think I speak for many Arsenal fans where I say we hope to see some incomings, maybe a striker, a winger, a central midfielder. We hope to see some departures, people. We just never know. As we know, 99.9% of this stuff is BS. But nonetheless, it gives us something to talk about. Arteta allegedly has shedded light on his future. We've been linked with Locatelli. We've been linked with Joshua Zirkzee. Allegedly, Aaron Ramsdale has agreed to move to Newcastle. So allow me to share my screen and let's get into it, people. Now, first thing is with Joshua Zirkzee, who I just said, you know, Arsenal fans and probably Arsenal as a football club, we probably need a striker. At the time of making this video, I'm actually in the process of making a video centered around that point. Now, I believe we need a striker, you know, on the face of it, 80 odd goals, you know, Bukayo, all the goals are being shared out. But I want the best of both worlds. I want Trossard's 12 goals. I want Gabriel Jesus to get back to what he's doing. I want Martinelli and Odegaard to do their thing. I want people to chip in from set pieces, mainly our defenders. You know, Declan Rice has brought goals to the table. But if you sit there in August, as I said last August, as I'll probably say, depending on who we sign this August, and as I said the August before, where you look at our goals, you know, I do think us Arsenal fans, including myself, we maybe overstate the need for a striker. And I do think we need to know that, wow, clearly we need a forward and the primary job of a striker is to score goals. The game's changed. We're talking about kicking ability and passing from goalies. You know, they need to be able to do the other facets of being a striker in a Mikel Arteta system. They need to be able to affect the game or have an effective impact without necessarily scoring. But I must admit that December period, the game against West Ham, potentially I'm being harsh, but Aston Villa where we lost, maybe Manchester City away as well. There's been some moments where we've just needed someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. And as I was saying, if you go back, you know, if you look at this August, depending on who we sign, if we just assume we sign nobody, God forbid, smash the like button if you want us to sign people and comment your opinions on not just what I'm talking about, but everything. If you're in August, yeah, and you're Mikel Arteta and you're saying we need X amount of clean sheets, we need goals, we need this, we need that. Clearly, we've shown the goals will be spread out and we can't predict the future. But specifically, almost going to get that word out, on the front three, people, literally just the striker. So we assume Bukayo Saka, right now it's Kai Havertz and Trossard, give or take a fit Jesus and in for Martinelli. The front three might look different, but Saka is there. In August, in terms of double figures, who is the only one that you would bet your life or your life savings on? Not to say other people can't chip in. It'd probably be Bukayo Saka because he's done it for the last 2-3 years. Everyone else is a pleasant surprise. They've got the capacity. So as much as I want Kai Havertz to continue his form, Trossard to continue his form, all the players to score goals, I don't care who scores, how we score, just keep doing what we're doing. Saka's the only one I bet on. So I think we need a striker. I think we really need to get a central midfielder. I would love another winger to ease the burden on Bukayo Saka, resting where possible. When Martinelli's form fluctuates, maybe there's someone else, in addition to what we've got with Trossard and a couple of other options, give or take. You know, Jesus can play there, Smith Rowe can play out wide. They haven't really been given that opportunity, bar the occasional stuff. In fact, Smith Rowe ain't done that this year. You know, Fabio Vieira's come in for Saka at times, but that's not the thing, people. So I want a striker. And when I look at Joshua Zirkzee, I say it all the time. When someone says his name, I think of creativity. His goal return isn't that massive, but all the other facets of being a striker in a Mikel Arteta system, I think are perfect. And at 22 years of age, he's on the right trajectory. Now, Bologna have qualified for the Champions League. There's rumours Thiago Motta, their current manager, and he was a former player, you know, in the Italian division. You know, he played for Barcelona, played for Inter Milan, etc. There's rumours he could go to Juventus. So maybe Zirkzee wants to get rid. Maybe he wants to join a bigger club in Italy, follow his manager allegedly to Juventus. Maybe he wants to stay at Bologna because something has to be said for stability. As we know, there's a buyback clause in his contract, etc. This article has said agent wants Zirkzee to join Arsenal because of Edu, but Milan still hope. Now, you know, Arsenal got a great project. Probably going to get more wages at Arsenal than you would at some of the clubs you've been linked with. Obviously, it's an exciting youth kind of thing that we're doing, the law of the Premier League. As an agent, it makes sense. In theory, we've got a young team. You tie into that. I'm going to get my client probably more handsome wages than he might get, give or take, elsewhere. And I'd probably get a better sell-on fee or sell-on fee commission as an agent, really. And if he's got a good relationship with Edu, that's how life works. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And if they can make something, if Arsenal won in fair play, Milan still hope people. I reckon he stays. I think he joins AC Milan or Juventus personally. But according to reports, people, Joshua Zirkzee's agent, Kaya Jarupkin, is a close friend of Arsenal's director, Edu. Yes, we are. And to be fair, he does have several clients on his roster. So he wants the Bologna star to join the Gunners. And maybe, you know, I'm sure he's got a couple of clients already at Arsenal. Obviously, it's a bit like what Mendes, what he was doing at Wolves. Obviously Wolves were doing a project, but if I have an agent park a lot of my players at one club, indirectly I'm getting a bit of an influence, people. So that's probably where it comes from, really and truly. Apparently Milan still hope to persuade the Dutchman and his reps. Now there's been some reports this week, check out the rest of the other content, that Zirkzee is going to join Arsenal, then it's Gyökeres is joining us, then it's this guy, that guy, Sesko. You know, apparently rivals are going off. So again, 99.9% of these rumors are BS, people, but it is what it is. Apparently, we're plotting, you know, a move for him, and his agent is plotting a summer move to Arsenal for the Bologna striker. And if it were only up to him, the Dutchman would sign for the Gunners. Bearing in mind, Bayern Munich have a sell-on clause and a buyback clause, people. The Italian newspaper claims Jarupkin is a close friend of Edu, so he hopes to push his client to the Emirates Stadium. Zirkzee has a 40 million euros clause in his contract with Bologna and is valid for all clubs, not only Bayern Munich. So again, where you look at Sesko, 64 million, Zirkzee, 40 million euros, which is probably 35 million quid and some change. It allows us to get a good player with a lot of trajectory and save money to invest in elsewhere. And we have to be fluid. You know, targets that we think we're getting, there might be spanners in the works. Players that we think are going, there might be spanners in the works. You just never know, people. Apparently, Bayern Munich are also entitled to a 45% sell-on clause. Great business from Bayern Munich. You got a buyback clause, probably not going to invoke that with their strikers, and they're getting 45 million. And obviously for Bologna, for a young striker that's give or take in great form, you know, I'm not a math man, but if I bought him, not that I have it, I wish, hit the like button, subscribe, we might be able to. But if I had 40 million euros and I bought him, you know, what's 45% of that, really? You know, they're not really going to get as much as they could. It means Bologna will earn just 21 million euros from the Zirkzee sale this summer. Arsenal are ready to offer the Dutchman a 6 million euro a year contract, but Milan still hope to persuade the 22-year-old. According to the report, Zirkzee would be happy to remain in Serie A for at least one more season to continue his development, but his agent seems to have other ideas. The Rossoneri remain in talks with the striker's reps and still hope to convince him to complete the deal and make Zirkzee their new centre forward in the 2024-25 season. This article is more or less saying the same thing. Again, let me know your thoughts on Zirkzee as a player and what we've just gone over. Keeping up the theme with Italy, people. I know it's not Vlahovic. Locatelli rumours have resurfaced. Arsenal have included Juventus's Manuel Locatelli in their transfer list for the summer transfer window, according to reports from Italy. I know we bought a couple of players in Curio and Tomiyasu from Italy, but after the whole Vlahovic saga, Osimhen to a degree, and actually Locatelli, I'm very pessimistic on things that come out of there. Now, Locatelli was linked with us before. His agent or his brother or someone come out and said he was close to joining Arsenal, but his heart was set on Juventus. So he's a player we know. He obviously plays in central midfield. And when you look at Douglas Luiz, Onana, Zubamendi, Locatelli, they're all different kind of roles, but they share the same common denominator in we need to address midfield. So maybe it's a bit of creative journalism in that regards. But for what it's worth, the Serie A side took the midfielder from Sassuolo in 2021. And prior to that, the Gunners showed keen interest in him. Sassuolo chairman Giovanni Colavani, forgive me for mispronunciation, revealed in March that Arsenal offered more money, but Locatelli wanted Juventus. So it's like trying to, you know, if you're a girl out there, big up yourself. But Mandem, it's like trying to get a girl. She don't want to hear nothing from you. Maybe my man's got more money, etc. That relationship hasn't worked out. Now she wants to spin the block or come over here because she sees that you might be a good man. Now, some men will go, do that. Me, I'm built different. No matter how much I want you back or want to go for you, self-respect. Maybe that's what Arsenal are wrong, because, you know, it looks like when we get burnt once, we're like safe. But for what it's worth, people, Arteta wants to bolster his side's midfield next season, and this could see the North London club consider returning for the 26-year-old. Recent claims have stated Arsenal are interested in Newcastle United's Bruno Guimaraes. He's also on the radar of other top clubs, City apparently. The outlay relays it and adds that the Italy international is also included in the Gunners transfer target list. Locatelli has managed a goal and 6 assists from 39 games this season. Even though he has featured regularly, the reports say the midfielder has struggled under Allegri. Allegri, who's rumoured to be departing because they want Thiago Motta. It's a bit like we're going to get onto it, but Joshua Kimmich rumours to Arsenal and elsewhere. I'm not saying it can't happen, but if you're at loggerheads with a manager who's going to be departing, you're not going to, you might want to stay because a new manager might make you the best thing since sliced bread. So we have to see. There's a belief Locatelli would finally blossom under Arteta and take his qualities and performances into account. He could be the perfect link for Arsenal. In short, the Arteta factor could play a role in convincing Locatelli to make a leap to the Emirates. He has a deal until 2028, and apparently it would be difficult for Arsenal to negotiate a deal with Juventus. The situation may change if Locatelli could consider a move to the Premier League side. So I wouldn't buy too much into that. Now, we know Ramsdale is probably going to depart. James Green apparently has been talking on the Highbury squad, big them up. It's my understanding that Aaron Ramsdale has agreed to join Newcastle in the summer. That has come directly from speaking to someone who I am very close with, who has spoken to his agent, and he said it's done. The deal is happening. Fair enough. As if we can make a little profit, great. So I wonder what that makes for Nick Pope. For Ramsdale, go play first team football. Newcastle's a great club, an ambitious club, a big club. Go do your thing, really and truly. It's a shame how it worked out. Not really, because Raya's doing his thing, but Ramsdale, I got time for you, man. So yeah, apparently he's agreed to move, people. I don't think that will come as a surprise to many Arsenal fans, if I'm being honest. I think the writing was on the wall. It's going to happen. He can't sit there and be a backup goalkeeper. He was too good for that. So again, what does that make for Nick Pope? He was always going to go on to pastures new, and I saw a few reports, a few other journalists talking about a backup to Raya this week and what keepers might come in. The likes of Jason Still at Brighton were mentioned, and I think he'd actually be a very good number 2. Fair enough. And he'd also count as homegrown. So we know we're going to technically sign 2 goalkeepers. Raya's move will be made permanent, and evidently we'd need a backup goalie or would be in some serious trouble. William Saliba's form's been out of this world, and he's been great this season. Obviously, where the Premier League trophy is concerned, we might not get that over the line. I don't think we will. I'm saying might not. Thoughts become things in that. Happy to see he signed a new deal. He has played every minute going into the West Ham game, which I'd imagine he would have played every minute. He was injured last season. He's been fit this year, and it's helped us run this title thing to a last day. And when you're 22, 23 years of age, doing what you're doing, got one of the best defensive duos in Gabriel and Saliba. And in terms of this season, how many centre-backs in European football have been better than them? I'm not saying they're the best. I would say them 2 have been up there. Rudiger's been up there. Let me know some others, folks, people. So it doesn't surprise me that PSG, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich have all been linked. Who doesn't want nice players? I would love a date with Kelly Rowland. I'm sure a lot of you will as well. Shout me, the thing. But it's not going to happen. So we'll have to see, but it's a step in the right direction. I do think William Saliba will play for Real Madrid one day. Hopefully, it's not anytime soon. And in this article, it said Carlo Ancelotti wants him, people. Are Real Madrid going to spend that? I don't know. It's still unclear what lies ahead for Javi Simmons, with rumours swirling about a possible move this summer. Barcelona, reportedly one of the clubs vying to bring him from Paris Saint-Germain. He's been linked with Barcelona on loan, and also a club like Arsenal who's been linked with in the past, people. Apparently a journalist of CBS has said, I don't think PSG will let Simmons leave unless the offer is absolutely astronomical and it's too good to turn down. I think Luis Enrique has already said publicly he would like much to have Javi Simmons as part of his PSG side for next season, as they should, really and truly. Apparently PSG have reached out to his reps. Apparently going on loan is still an option, and apparently, people, for what it is worth, him going on loan, apparently he's got a clause where he selects his loan club, so that could help Barcelona. I love Javi Simmons. I don't really want him on loan because we're essentially developing a player for someone else. Again, we've been linked with Ferdi Kalagoglu of Fenerbahce, people, who is a defender. We've once again been linked with him. This article has said we have moved quickly to secure his services in the race for the left back, and apparently we're close. Apparently Sasha Ciavelli, a journalist, has claimed that the fullback is close to joining the Arsenal. Talks with the players' entourage are ongoing, and an agreement on personal terms should be straightforward, and it will be a fee of around 25 million euros, people, or pounds, better yet, the pound signs there. Apparently he's one of Fenerbahce's most important players and has made 49 appearances across all comps this season, helping his team to 19 clean sheets, and he's got 3 goals in the process, people. And apparently he's ready for a new challenge. I mean, I haven't got an informed opinion on him, but if he can add to the squad, who doesn't want players? Keeping up the theme with Fenerbahce, apparently they've made an inquiry for Thomas Partey, people, in which with Jorginho signing a new deal, with us being linked to central midfielders, and I think every Arsenal fan knows we need a central midfielder. You'd imagine the 30-year-old is someone that I don't think the club will force out, but if a feasible offer comes, they might let it be known that maybe you need to keep it moving, if I'm completely honest. Everyday Partey's linked with a new club, people, but he's on 200 grand a week. And he's 31 and he's in the last year of his deal. There's even been some reports that there's an extension on offer for Arsenal, but these are conflicting. Think about it logically. Like, on ability, who wouldn't want Thomas Partey? But you're 31. You're on 200 grand a week. You know, if you're a foreign club, you might very well want Partey. You might make offers to see test the waters with Arsenal. Where, you know, Arsenal are not going to get a decent fee for him. You know, even 10, 15 million, you'd probably take that, if that. But you probably say, all right, Partey, sit tight at Arsenal. Let's see if you don't get any injuries, you keep some prolonged form. In January, we'll agree a free transfer. And obviously for Thomas Partey, if he fulfills the duration of his contract, that's a loyalty bonus. You're on 200 grand, as I said, unless you're going to go Saudi or somewhere like that, you're probably not going to get that. Arsenal do have an exciting project. And when fit, you're one of the key players for Mikel Arteta. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on there, people. He has started the last 4 games for us in the Premier League. You know, wins against Chelsea, Man United, and Tottenham Hotspur, Spurs. To be fair, the Man United game was the only one he was a bit dodgy when he tried to drop his shoulder early on in the game. I love Thomas Partey as a footballer, innit, people? You know, we're not going to get 29 million euros for him and whatever wages he's on, if I'm honest with you. Of course, you know, you don't want to see a player go for free, but that's where we're at. Thomas Tuchel, apparently 1 minute he's leaving, then he's staying, then he's going. Apparently he's now going, and this has ramifications for Kimmich potentially to Arsenal. As this report has stated, he wants to stay at Bayern Munich because Thomas Tuchel is leaving. I would love Kimmich at the club, but the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. Exit door opens for Arteta as jumpy Arsenal sweat over manager's future. So a manager that is in high regards, that's contracted until 2025, is being linked with other clubs. I personally think a new deal's been signed for him and it will be announced in due course. But for what it's worth, the man himself has said we'll talk with the club about that at the end of the season. Apparently, Romano has said Arsenal already preparing their new proposal for Arteta, which, you know, whether you rate him or not, and there's question marks about, you know, as much as I rate how he's assembled the squad, I think there's a correlation when we've lost certain games or not got points with the lack of options in midfield. While goals have been scored, you know, we clearly need a striker. And I do think for as great as the gaff has been, around injuries as well, we're saying the same things year in, year out. So, you know, he's learning on the job. He's learning quick. He's doing his thing. Obviously, the question mark now is, can you get us over the line? We've had another title challenge. Obviously, the Champions League, for me, it feels a bit of what if, really, because there's no shame in going out and Bayern Munich. We gave a good account of ourselves back when we got back, but we shot ourselves in the foot. I do think the conversations are shifting to, can you get over the line with major honours and stuff like that, because we're flirting with it. But for me, if there was any negatives or cons, I think the pros are outweighed by what Mikel Arteta is doing on the field. We'll be here all day, defensively, scoring goals, variety in our play, challenging. We're doing all of that sort of stuff, what we want from the manager, and players are getting better and better. So I think he deserves to stay. Obviously, you look at the Bakayo, well, Ramsdale as well, but Saka, Ramsdale, Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu, Benjamin White, Odegaard, a bunch of players have key players have committed their futures. Declan Rice, obviously people can leave, managers leave, this is the business, but Declan Rice has signed. Obviously, Arteta has shown him what I want to do in the long term. So if you signed all of these players up, again, anything in life can happen. But you'd imagine the gaffer wants to do his thing. And he's done so much. He back-to-back apes, coming with the Xhaka staff, been there with Aubameyang and Ozil. There was COVID. There was, you know, Europa League L's. There's been so much. And we've not got out of it yet. But it is a lot more rosy at the Emirates. So if you're going through all of that, do you want to quit already? He's obviously a manager held in high regards. Had he not have ended up at Arsenal, you'd imagine he would be groomed to take over from Pep if and when the time comes. So it is what it is. But he has also hinted, people, he does see himself returning to Spain at some point in his career. And again, I do feel he could be like Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp in that they stay for a long time. But the days of Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, they're gone. He's not going to be here for 20-odd years. And as much as he's an Arsenal man and he played for us, got to remember, he came from La Masia. He comes from whatever regions Real Sociedad is. You know, he went City. You know, he played for Everton and things like that. This is a job at the end of the day. And he doesn't, as much as he loves the club and the way of life, this ain't born into him like me and you lot out here. We're Arsenal fans. At the end of the day, this is a job and this goes for the players. Naturally, why wouldn't he want to go back to Spain at some point and bully his homeland? Just make sure you achieve something here first and then do what you need to do, people. Once again, people, Arsenal are in advanced talks for Benjamin Sesko, according to reports, people. I've covered this in previous videos, so go and check that out. Let me know your thoughts on him. According to Court Offside, which claims Arsenal are in advanced talks with the 20-year-old over a summer move, Sesko has become the Gunners' priority target ahead of Gyökeres due to his price, people. He started the season with a €50 million release clause, a demand from his camp Leipzig had agreed to in their bid to sign him, but that figure allegedly is not fixed. Sesko's clause is now thought to stand at around 60 to 65 million euros, and it could yet rise to as high as 75 million euros if performance-related targets are hit in the Red Bulls' last game against Eintracht Frankfurt. So we'll have to see, and his agent was pictured at Old Trafford. Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, and a bunch of other clubs have been linked with the 21-year-old people. That's nothing for you lot. One player who could be departing from our academy, Nathan Butler-Oyedeji. Apparently Swansea and Bristol are eyeing up the 21-year-old, in which it looks like the pathway is blocked. Has been on loan to Cheltenham Town, people, and Accrington Stanley previously. And like a lot of the boys in the under-21s, probably need to get out and play proper first-team football and try to build futures away from the football club. It's just the belly of the beast, people. He's a good lad with a great mentality and a great upbringing, so I think he'll be all right. Obviously, this article has spoken about Arsenal's departures. We know we could see 3 goalkeepers leave to various degrees. Aaron Ramsdale, we just went over, allegedly could be joining Newcastle. Carl Hein, you'd imagine, needs to, he's homegrown, and we need him as, we need a third choice keeper. But from a selfish point of view, you need to go out and get loans. Arthur Okonkwo apparently is leaving on a free, people. Apparently Freddie Woodman is a player the Gunners have looked at. Wojciech Szczesny has been linked with us. We know Cedric is departing. Tierney's giving his interview, which again we've covered in previous vids. You can never rule out someone having a future, but it looks like his days are numbered. Nuno Tavares needs to be gone tomorrow. We also know we've got an interest in Jarell Hatto. Apparently we're interested in Mark Gurhey, but he's going to cost top whack. This is said, keep an eye on Zinchenko's situation. The Ukrainian has 2 years left to run on his contract in North London and lost his start in place. At 27 years of age, Arsenal are unlikely to offer him a new deal unless his standing in the team changes, and could be open to offers on him this summer. Bayern have been interested. We know we need to bring in a midfielder. Partey could leave the club if a suitable offer comes in. Jorginho has signed a new deal. Zubimendi continuously is linked with us. Apparently the player's willingness to come is in doubt, so that probably means close the case, because we've heard that for a while with Zubimendi now. Douglas Luiz and Gomares are both players that have been linked, but as things stand, it's unlikely those deals are going through. Smith Rowe also, like Zinchenko, has 2 years left on his deal, and considering he's in his mid-20s, that's someone that, you know, when he burst through, you would have thought this would be impossible. So I do think a lot of these players are in show and prove mode. I think Jorginho's shown he could get a new deal. I think Zinchenko's in show and prove mode. Smith Rowe, if there was ever an opportunity, these lot need to do what they're doing, people. Apparently, we've been linked with Paqueta, but I think him and Bruno Gomares are ending up at City. We know we want to sign a striker, people. We've been linked with Ollie Watkins and Ivan Toney. Toney links have gone dead. Ollie Watkins is going to cost a lot of money, and his team has just qualified for the Champions League. Alexander Isak is a lovely player, and if Ramsdale's going over there, you know, is there some negotiating and bartering to do potentially with us getting Alexander Isak, people? Apparently he's unlikely to leave Newcastle as things stand. Eddie Nketiah could be on the move this summer. He hasn't started a single game in 2024, and he has a whole host of interest from Premier League clubs, including Crystal Palace. And allegedly we could also be open to offers for Reece Nelson as well, folks. So yeah, we've gone through a lot. Let me know your thoughts on Locatelli, Zirkzee, Gyökeres, Sesko, Mikel Arteta getting a new deal. Are you for it? Are you against it? Potentially Zinchenko and Aaron Ramsdale leaving, and everything else, Smith Rowe, and everything else we've gone over. Check out the rest of the vids. Appreciative to you lot tuned in. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out the links that have been buzzing on your screen. Obviously, it's Arsenal versus Everton in the last Premier League game of the season on Sunday. I'll be doing a watch along an hour before kickoff, so 3 p.m. Even if you're not going to be there, smash the like button. This video should actually take you to that landing page when it's done. You lot stay blessed, stay safe. One love for watching. One love for those of you that always support the content. Don't forget to leave a comment, people. Safe.